Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Dancing Heart podcast, the place that empowers and inspires you to live in alignment with your heart and joy. I'm your host, Torney Wiggum, here to bring you deep conversations with inspiring guests about purpose, empowerment, and living in alignment. Let's get dancing into this week's episode. Oh my God, we are live with another episode of the Dancing Heart podcast. And today we are actually live from Canada. Welcome to the Dancing Heart podcast, Nelia Ricardo-Wodiany.
Very well said. Thank you so much for having me here, Tony. This is so exciting.
We finally made it after some Mercury retrograde issues in the eclipse energy, but we are now here. And I am so excited to have you on the show today, Nelia, to talk more about how to create your life as a masterpiece. Because you are a spiritual empowerment biz and life coach, and you also are a creative digital strategist with 25 years of experience in graphic design, and you're helping others to step into their creative energy and create a life as the masterpiece with their soul aligned with their dharma and the business. So, yes, let's dive in. But before we dive in, Nelia, I'm excited to hear what makes your heart dance today.
What makes my heart dance today? Well, it's my birthday on the 28th, and the whole just spring. Now, right now, it is a snow blizzard. It's a blizzard outside. So March is going out like a lion. That tells me that spring is busting out.
Amazing.
And, yeah, that's what makes my heart sing. It's like I'm going to go see my daughter, spend some time with my daughter for a couple weeks, and I'm just so looking forward to that time. And yeah, life just is so full of these little nuggets of miracles and magic. So
It
that's what
is.
makes my heart sing. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that. And also happy birthday, because when this episode goes live, it's on your birthday. So I just want to say happy birthday in advance
Oh,
when we
thank
record
you. That's so
this.
exciting.
Yes,
Mm.
it's all meant to be. And yeah, we just entered the Aries season, and with the spring and the spring equinox, it's everything just starts to come to life again and to bloom after some months of winter. And it's time to co-create from a place of like creativity and inspiration again. And I know that you are working with the soulpreneurs, but I want you, like, if you're gonna explain, like, what is a soulpreneur, because it's a term that has many different, not meanings, but depending on who you talk to. So what is your definition of a soulpreneur?
Oh, yeah, sure. So soulpreneur, yeah. So not like SOLE as in soul, like single, but as in soul, your soul. So as a soulpreneur, you're tapped into your heart. You're a heart-led business owner. Um, you you go with your gut. You're feeling your intuition. You're connected to your higher self. Um, that's where the soulpreneur comes from. So you're an entrepreneur, but you're soul led. So you're following your passions, the thing that brings you joy, or that gives you passion, like the passion, that thing that, yeah, joy, essentially, yes.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's everything kind of like merging into one, your soul and your business and your life.
That's right.
So that's what you are.
That's right.
Yes. So, but first of all, how did you create your life as this masterpiece that you from this soul aligned place?
Well, it's been many years in the making. Um, but I've I don't know, I've always had this feeling of I had started I went to school for fashion design many years ago and then realized that I actually really love the design aspect. That's why I went to college actually was for fashion design, but it's more the design that I really love. And then I had my son and I decided I'm not going to go back to the corporate world. And then started my own business and I was designing greeting cards and it was fun, but then I realized that I had done this to spend more time with my son, so I wouldn't have to go back to work and I could still have something to call my own. That little, I always had this desire to um, build something of my own, and but I was working so much because I was watching him and then he'd go to sleep and I would be working and then at night he'd be in bed and I'd be working and yeah, it just didn't it got I guess I could say I was burnt out, but not I wasn't burnt out. I just had to let it kind of die out. And then I ended up um realizing that graphic design is what I love. So I ended up taking a job doing that part-time. And then I was in-house graphic designer, and then I moved on to something else, working at an ad agency, and then working um in a telecom company doing marketing. So everything's kind of evolved. And in the meantime, I've always had um, this spiritual connection growing up Catholic, but not my mom was such an inspiration. She always used to say that you don't have to talk to God by going to church. God is all around us. And I grew up with that. And anyways, I lost my mom uh, a very young age. And then I lost my dad about 6 years ago. And it was at that point that I started searching for something more. There has to be something more to life. And I started following Sahara Rose, listening to her podcasts and many other spiritual leaders like Marianne Williamson and Gabrielle Berenstein. And I just with Sarah Rose, she was talking about her certification, her soul purpose life coach certification, and I signed up for the wait list to be one of her students, and I loved it. I thought it's just something in me said, yes, that's what I want. That's what I need to do. I need to help others connect to their soul, to their spirit, and and here I am. So I've married my passion for graphic design, which is um, something that I love to do, and then also helping others find their path, or if they've found their path, to help them share it with the world
Hmm.
in a place that, in a way that creates that helps them to feel like the home, like their brand is their home.
Yes, and I thank you for sharing this. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
so
just
that's
bring
how I'm here.
yeah, it's such an inspiration to hear your story that it took you on this journey and then yeah, now you're merging everything with your passions together to help others. And you said that you're helping them to express what they have on the inside onto like the outside. And I think that is such a hard, like very challenging, and also for talking from my own experience as well, like creating my own website. I'm like, where do we start? It's like, how can you tap in and just express that in a way that feels good and it feels at home for you. Do you have any like a process on how to do that, or is it different from every single person?
Well, we are living in a time where there's so much noise, there's so much comparison, but many of us, there's like we share the same interests, but however we do it, or maybe you're doing the same coaching, like you're a soul life coach and I'm a soul life coach. But the thing is, we each have our unique way of expressing how we do it. And then we all have our ideal client that is attracted to the way we do it, to our methods. So if you're just out there and you're not sure where to start, I would say that, well, meditation, taking time to really sit quietly and reflect, meditation and journaling your thoughts. What is it? Who's your dream client? Like, who do you want to work with? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you can do to help others? And having that journal as you're sitting quietly, that's a starting point. And then, of course, everything else, like when I say branding, like your aesthetics, but your branding is also your mission, your values, your um, your core messaging. What what sets you apart from all the noise, from all the others that are offering the same services? So yeah, you might enjoy the setting up your logo and your colors and your fonts and your website, but really you have to really drill down to what your messaging is and how that's going to help that person that's out there that hasn't found you yet, and help them find you by your messaging. And messaging can be kind of tricky because we think we get also like, I know, because I go through this all the time when people ask me, what do you do? And I have a mouthful because I'm a multi-dimensional, multi-passionate human being. So I do this, I do that. And like, how do you get it to a more cohesive statement so that you're not losing the person who's just asked you the question,
Exactly, and
you
just
know?
explaining that in one sentence.
Exactly. Well, let me tell you.
Yes, without the other person losing interests.
Exactly. So here's the thing too, like we all worry about that. What, the other person's going to lose interest, but honestly, if they ask you and they're not interested in listening, then that person's not for you, right? Like the
Yeah.
person that wants to work with you is going to be so invested in what you do and who you are. So we do put a lot of emphasis on our messaging, but making sure that it's really a good reflection of you. And honestly, like I have, since I became a life coach and then marrying it with graphic design, like my offering web design and things like that. Um, it has been difficult to try to weave them both together and make sure people understand what I do, because there was a point there where I was calling myself, I still kind of call myself art and soul because I love art, and graphic design is art. Web design is still a form of art. Um, but people were thinking that I was an art therapist, like not a therapist, but like I was an art coach. So my messaging was off. Um, so just I've been evolving and I've been working with my messaging to make sure that, when you come to my social media page, you see my website, you see that I'm what I'm offering, okay, she's offering graphic design, but she's spiritual and she's, you know, she does coaching. But the coaching aspect that I offer um, is with my clients who are looking for help with their website or their branding, because you still need coaching, because that's the part where I help you drill down to who you're messaging and who you serve. What brings that light in your solar plexus, in your sacral? What lights you up?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's when that's amazing because it's hard for somebody to see themselves and to be their own mirror about like, so what, how do I put this into words and how
Yeah,
do I really own this as my masterpiece? Because I think it's like embodying yourself as this masterpiece is like,
absolutely.
it's a huge, like, okay, this is who I am. This is my masterpiece. I'm the coach, but I'm also the artist, and I'm also this, and I'm also that, and how to like merge everything together
Yeah,
as a multidimensional soul. So that is where you come in
that's right.
and waving your magic wand and stepping into your stepping into your purpose and like, okay, you are perfect. Every masterpiece is different
That's right.
and
That's
unique.
right. I mean, we are continually creating. I get a lot. So many people, just about everyone will tell me. So I like to. I have in the warmer months where I live. I have a studio. It's off grid, um, but I have a little forest, and I do retreats, afternoon retreats. And what it is we go into the forest, we meditate, we get grounded, and then we come back and we just start doing intuitive art. And I like people, oh, I'm not creative at all. But you are. We are all creative beings. Now, of course, some have different talents. You know, I have no problem painting a tree. Someone else might feel like, oh, I can never do that. But you're still creating. Every moment that you are awake, you are creating your life. By the moment you put on your t-shirt, you know, you're creating your outfit. You're creating your breakfast. Like that's life is a creation, and that's our masterpiece.
It is. It's not only what you do, it's in every single step of the day and every single step
Yeah.
of the process is a
Yeah,
co-creation of the masterpiece.
exactly. Like, for example, you go to get a coffee. Everyone always asks you, how do you like your coffee? Like if you're going somewhere and you're gonna get a coffee, you may like your coffee different than I like my coffee. Like I know in Europe coffee is a bit different, but in like for here, we'll go to the drive-through and get a coffee. And my husband likes his medium regular. I like mine black. So a medium regular being it's a medium, it has sugar and milk. So, you know, that's his creation. That's part of his masterpiece that he is building in his life.
Hmm. It's like a blank canvas and you're co-creating this every single day. And we're still
Absolutely.
co-creating, like making all of these conscious choices, but making this as the fullest expression of your soul, that is when it's like this feels like home. Like when
Exactly.
the energy is there. And it's
Yeah,
that takes time to know because you need to know who you are and what you like, what you started with this conversation with. And
yeah,
then we can start putting on the colors and then we can
yeah,
like sprinkle that with some spark if that's what you like.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Exactly. So what
it's sorry.
Yeah, no,
Excuse
I
me.
was just thinking, what do you think is like the biggest challenge that you see in people creating their masterpieces in their life and business? Like, what is it? It's like, okay, it's time to put on the gold frame on your masterpiece. This is your to own.
I think people get afraid. Well, first of all, a lot of times okay. So if a client comes to me, this is what they do. They're just not sure. They're still not sure. They're, I work with a lot of dimensional, multi-purpose, passionate souls. And I feel like the biggest thing I see is they're afraid of being put in a box. Because it's like, okay, I'm creating this website, but I'm just not sure. Like, what if because I'm working on this and I'm working on that. And I just like, it's okay. Your website evolves with you. It doesn't have to be static. Your website should be your home online. Social media is just the bonus. It's social media is the networking for your business, for your website. Social media should be used as a way to get people to your website so that they can learn about you and read more about who you are, really learn about your services, and then have that full body yes to work with you. But the social media part of it is where we nurture that the potential client. Um, that's where we, you know, oh, come over. Here's my business card. Like your website is your storefront, your business card, your um the home of your business. And it's like if you go to a retail store, they're always changing the window to whatever
That's
reflects
right.
the season.
That's
So your
right.
website does not have to be static.
Hmm.
No, I'm always, oh my gosh. One point, I had three websites. I'm like, what am I doing? I gotta merge everything together. Um I had my graphic design, like my for freelancing, and it was my Ricardo, I called it Ricardo Design. I had that for years. And I still do. Like if you looked at ricardodesign.ca, it would still it's now pointing to my current website. And then I have my coaching website. And what am I doing? I need to so then I started another website, one that was merging the both together, but I still had the other two. So like, okay, I gotta shut that down and let's bring it all together and just focus on this one website because I was actually managing three at one point, and but it wasn't very long, but still, I'm always like, and we talk, and sometimes like I'm guilty of this where I'm spending too much time on the website tweaking,
Yep.
and,
I th-
and instead of being more productive in other areas of my business.
yes. I think everybody that has been in the process of creating a website has been there, tweaking every
Yeah,
single thing. Like this masterpiece, like, should I have a little bit more of black in here, or where should I put the
exactly.
dot? Yeah.
You step back and look back and you go, no, it needs a little bit of this over here, maybe a little bit of that over
Yes,
there. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Is the color perfect, or do you need more, a little bit of that shade, or,
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
when is enough enough? Like when is like, okay, the dot, finish, take a step back, look at the masterpiece, and come back at it later.
Well, when is enough is enough? Well, to be honest, how about thinking it this way? When can I start? When should I set? When should I do a website? When it's perfect? When I'm ready? When I'm perfect? When I have everything figured out? Just jump in because it's never going to be perfect. I mean, okay, maybe it will be perfect, but there's going to be something that comes up and you're going to change direction. So that's one thing that we can guarantee in life. Well, two things that we can guarantee in life is change and then, death. We're all not here forever. Our
Exactly.
souls have other contracts to fulfill.
That's right. Hmm.
But in the meantime, get that website, start your branding, start focusing on, if you've got that business that's burning in you that you want to start,
Yeah.
I would suggest start with the branding
Hmm.
and not I'm like, yeah, okay, if you've got colors in mind, that's wonderful, but really narrow down that messaging and who you're speaking with and what you do.
So would you would say like the messaging is more important than, the colors?
Oh
I
yeah.
know the color is more fun because that's what I like. Oh,
Yeah,
this is so fun
of
and
course.
creating and
Yeah.
just expressing and just these different colors and fonts and all of that. And I remember myself when I came to the message, I'm like, this is so hard. How do I
Oh
want
yeah.
to express this? I don't even know. Like, I need somebody to help me here. And it's like tweaking and should I say it in this way? And that is like the most challenging part, I would say, for me when I did in my process. So I think that's a very good tip
Absolutely.
from your side. Like, hey, start with the messaging and really see how do you want to express this in words, and maybe
Absolutely.
even just starting to talk about that and how you want to express that. So if I ask you like, hey Nelia, what do you do? What do you
What do I
say?
do? Well, um, I'm a spiritual empowerment coach and I do website design. I've got I've been doing graphic design for over, well, I was saying for over 20 years, but now like my son just turned 25 and he was just a baby when I started. So it's been 25 years that I've been doing graphic design and that it's involved that includes web design, that includes print. Anyways, yeah, I work with people that are soul led, heart led, service providers, freedom loving, intuitive guided, and I help others to realize their passions and guide them in a business sense so that they can understand that their business doesn't have to be separate from their life. Business and your life can be together, especially when we're soul led. It's so hard to keep it separate.
It's one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing. So say what you do, who you help, and what you help them with.
that's right.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you have the work of art mindset.
Yes.
Yes. Can you share with the audience what you mean about having a work of art mindset?
So, a work of art mindset is the idea that you're creating a masterpiece and that regardless of if you feel like you're a creative being or not, you are a work of art and you're tapping into your soul and your intuition. And when an artist has that drive to paint, to draw, you as another someone who may not feel creative in that sense has a drive to do something else. You may have the drive to, um, I don't know, you want to, you love numbers. You love numbers and you want to be an accountant and you want to offer an accountant with soul, accounting with soul, you know, intuitive numbers. I don't know, something like that. It just came to me.
That's
But
such a
you're
great
still
example.
creating.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still creating. You're still creating that work of art because your life and your business have to be um, in sync so that you feel fulfilled, so that your life feels fulfilled and that you can have those sparks of joy and magic.
Yes. Exactly. I love that you brought up the numbers and the accountant and like bringing art into that because this is maybe what you least uh, think of when you think of numbers and accountant. It's like that's not art, right? Like it's like how can that be art? It's something that is so corporate. How can and I think we have these
Yeah.
limiting beliefs around like what is even art? Like how can I bring art? Can I even bring art into something like accounting? Yes, you can.
And it's not necessarily like when you think of art, you think of a painting, you think of a piece of architectural, a sculpture or something, right? But art is, there's an art to the way we work. There's an art
It
to the
is.
way we do business. There's an art to the way we do life. And it's not about well, yeah, it is about the sculpting. It's about how you sculpt your business and have it weave in and out of your life. And
It's a
that is the
dance.
work of art. It's a dance.
It's
Exactly.
it it is a dance.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when you look at the word art, it's like heart with the HE, like heart, and then it's art. So you need to tap
Yes.
into your heart, what is bringing that joy and what is making your heart dance, and then
Absolutely.
express that on however you want to express it, whether it's through dance, paint, creation, or even, in the form of singing, or even being an accountant.
Right. Maybe you sing while you add your numbers and do your accounting.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you call yourself the singing accountant.
I love how is this. I love the way that this podcast is taking the way now into the singing accountant. Like this is a piece of art. It's
Exactly.
amazing, Nelia.
It's
It's just
thinking
like
outside the box.
exactly, just like expand everything and just take the tap off anything that can be expressed and just like be. Let your soul just take up all of the space without the frame.
I don't know why numbers came to me, why like accounting came to me, but I do actually do love numbers. Um, my husband will probably tell you, well, she's not very good like mathematically. I'm like, that is such, anyways, I have to change that narrative because I don't like math, like algebra and stuff, but I love numbers. I love angel numbers. I love numerology. I see, numbers that I like when you see certain set of numbers, like, oh, they connect with me somehow. Like that's a
Mm-hmm.
message, I'm sure of it.
It is. And that is even, yeah. I have not I looked at numbers, but I haven't like looked at it from that perspective that you have, like, because it's all connected to numbers, even the angel numbers or the accountant
Yeah,
or being a everything are just numbers.
that's right.
I, I love that. Just bringing all of this together and like you said, like creating your life as a masterpiece, you don't even have to frame the masterpiece
No,
because it can
maybe
just,
it's a
you can,
maybe it's a sculpture.
maybe it's also sculpture. Exactly. And it's a forever work in process.
That's right.
So I think, yeah, we were talking about the challenges and how you can create that and like letting yourself open up to just express yourself as a soul. And you were mentioning that you're having these retreats during summer
Yeah.
and where you're going to the forest and then you have this intuitively expression. And how do you guide people into expressing from their soul without being their own like judgmental, like, I didn't like this. Because I know
Well,
that I
of
have that,
course, yeah.
like,
Well, I always like to start off by saying that there's not one way or another. And when I do my, when we go into the forest, we do a meditation and we connect with nature. We're more relaxed, feeling a little more relaxed. We're feeling grounded. Then we go back to the studio, and I always start with, this is your work of art. This is your piece. Whether you feel like you're creative or not, we're just going to draw. It's there's no right or wrong. It's your own creation. I give them some guidance of, okay, this is the kind of the premise of what we're trying to achieve. This is how we're going to do it. And then whatever the end product is, I haven't had anyone say that. I've had every single person has done something completely different, and no one has ever said, "Oh, I don't like mine." And it's really, everybody's always felt like, I could be here for a lot longer. I can just sit here and do this all day.
it's nice
Yeah,
tapping
it's
more
just
into this
it's tapping
feminine
into their,
expression.
yeah, and just allowing it to come out.
And I think that what you said, that allowing it to come out, I think that is like this tapping into that within yourself, like allow yourself to express that.
Exactly. And allowing it to come out, allowing yourself to be open and open-hearted, open mind, open heart, without judgment
Mhm.
of
So now I'm
self.
just, yes. So now I'm curious. So after you have the people have created their piece of art, do you have like, do you look at each other's art and express what you see, or how do you do their interact with each other so they can
Yeah,
learn how
absolutely.
to?
Like, so at the end,
Mhm.
I'll always give them an opportunity to explain, how they feel after the practice. Um, is there, I know one workshop I did a mandala, and one one participant, she just did circles all the way around and then colored them in. Another lady did she did circles but with circles within. The other one was like circles out, like outside of the larger circle, and like interact in crisscrossing each other. And then the other lady did one inside, like they were just like getting smaller and smaller to the center. And then she drew a garden. The other lady drew words. Like it's just interesting. And another lady drew boxes and then colored them in. Um, it's just interesting how everybody's, what their expression was, and listening to what their like just what came out for them. Like it was just, I don't know, like it's not rocket science or anything, but it's just lovely to hear how everybody just enjoyed the process of the creative process without having boundaries.
Exact. Enjoying the process without boundaries.
Yeah.
Exactly. So for anyone listening today, if you're going to give them a task of tapping into their creativity without having those boundaries and just allowing themselves to fully express, what would you guide them to do or advise them if there's like one task or something that can help them
Okay.
tap into that?
One exercise I love to do is you grab yourself a piece of paper, preferably blank, because you like to start with a blank canvas. It doesn't have to be a canvas, just a piece of paper. If you have colored pencils, great. If not, that's fine. A pencil or a pen. And you draw a circle in the middle. And then from there, you can draw, you just draw lines. However, and if it feels good to you and safe, you close your eyes and allow the pencil or the pen to just grace the paper. And you just keep drawing these lines. And then afterward, when you've finished, maybe you've filled the whole paper, you can color it in. You can see if there's a pattern that you've created, color that in if you want. But once you've done that, that is one of my exercises that I actually just recently included in my brand essence. I have a workbook for tapping into your brand essence. And that's one of the exercises that we do before we actually dive into the whole work of your brand essence. And then after that is another practice where um, start writing down all your limiting beliefs and all these things that we may be feeling like, um, I love art, but I'm not creative. Well, let's flip that. How can you say that in a positive light? I love art and I can be creative. I am creative. Not I can be. I am creative. Um, and then the first exercise by with the drawing, it's called there's actually a term for it called Zen tangles,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a tangled mess of lines. It's like getting all that noise out of your mind and onto the paper
I love that.
and seeing what comes out of it.
I love that exercise. So if anyone is listening and are just drawing this, tag us in the Instagram and in the stories or send it to Nelia because I want to see that. And we
Oh,
can
I'd love
share
that. That
that.
would be really awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Because just detangling everything from here and just putting it on the paper and just seeing what you can
Yeah.
create just by, I love that exercise. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I will actually I wanted to do it now. So I think I'm going to do it afterward. I'm going to share it with you. This is something
Yeah,
I
it's a
can do
fun
with my
exercise.
daughter. It is. It's
Absolutely. Yeah,
hmm,
absolutely.
amazing. Thank you. I'm
Yeah,
excited
it's a
now.
great relaxing exercise, especially before you diving into some work.
Yeah. Yeah. Just tapping into your creative flow. And you were mentioning your
Yeah.
workbook that you have for free. So if somebody
Yeah.
wants to grab that, where can they, what is your, I'm sure you have a website. I know you have a website. What is the name of your
Yeah.
website, Nelia?
Soul, oh my gosh. Soul Creative Studio with Nelia.
Okay, we will put that in the description of the episode as well and link
That would
that.
be wonderful. Thank you.
Of course. And what is your Instagram handle? I can also put that, but it's also always nice to just see what to share where people can find you.
Absolutely. So I'm at Nelia dot Soul Creative Studio.
I love that name. It's so aligned with what are you here
Thank
to
you.
do and express. This is your masterpiece, Nelia. And
Yes,
before
thank you.
we, yes, thank you. And is there anything else that is on your heart that you want to share before we are wrapping up this wonderful episode?
Um, this has been such a great conversation. I really appreciate all these wonderful questions and being able to share what I do and just allowing people to have the opportunity to think differently about their business, about life, and how trying trying to think outside the box and build that beautiful work of art, your life.
Exactly. Your
Mhm.
life. Thank you so much, Nelia. It's been wonderful to have you here. And I am just by talking to you, I'm feeling more empowered, knowing that
Awesome.
my soul's expression is a masterpiece and it's not comparable to anyone else here in the world.
That's right. Absolutely. I'm so glad that you're feeling empowered.
I am.
That's the
Okay.
whole purpose.
That's the whole purpose. My heart is truly dancing now. Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
And I also hope that your heart is dancing a little bit extra after listening to this episode with Nelia. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Dancing Heart podcast. Don't forget to share it with a friend and tag me in your stories. Follow me on my Instagram, it's Torna Wiggum, and I'll see you in the next episode. Have an amazing day wherever you are tuning in from. Bye. Ciao.